In this week's parasha, Parashat Balak, we have the story of that evil Melech Balak who goes out of his way to try to destroy the Jewish people. He hires the evil prophet, the non-Jewish prophet Bilam, to curse us, chas v'shalom. But every single time Bilam opens up his mouth to try to curse us, Baruch Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes a Beracha, comes out. Hashem controls the peh. Hashem is in charge of the mouth, and the evil curses of Bilam, all of them turn into Berachot. Baruch Hashem. And actually, one of his Berachot, or one of his praises, was so powerful that it even made it into the tefillah for a lot of us in the morning. And it's the pasuk. This is our parasha, Parakaf Daled, pasuk Hey. It says, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov. How great are your tents, Yaakov. Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Your dwelling places, O Israel. How great are our homes. And many people will say this pasuk in the morning with the morning pasukim. Others say it as they walk into the Beit Knesset in the morning. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov. How great are your tents, meaning the tents we think of Yaakov. What is the tent of Yaakov? So we know Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim. Yaakov is the person sitting in the tents of Torah. It's the Batei Knesset, the Batei Midrashot. It's our houses of Torah, our houses of learning. Ishtabach Shemo. Ma tovu, how tov, how great, how good is our tents of Torah, our tents of prayer. I was actually thinking maybe the Ohalecha also hints. We have Yaakov's tent. We also have his grandfather Avraham. We have Avraham's tent. Ohalosh shel Avraham. Avraham's tent that he was Yoshev ala Petach. He was always standing by the petach of his tent, trying to bring in those guests, trying to bring in those orchim. Avram is known as the tent of open on all four sides, the Hesed. So we have the tents of Yaakov, of Torah. We have the tents of Hesed. Okay. But Rashi, based on the Gemara, speaks about a different concept. What are these openings of the tents? What is the Ohalecha? So he speaks about the petach itself. Ma tovu Ohalecha Yaakov. How great are our tents? Says Rashi, Al shera'a pitchehem she'enan mechuvanim zeh mul zeh. Bilam saw that our tents, the entrances, the petachim, the entrances of the tents, they weren't exactly facing each other. They weren't mechuvanim. They weren't corresponding exactly one to the other. So what's that talking about? So on the simple level, it sounds like Rashi's talking about sniut, that there was a certain modesty, as Rashi says a couple of psukim earlier. So it says, Vaisa Bilam et enav. Bilam saw, Vayar et Yisrael shochen lishvatav. He saw us encamping based on our tribes. We were tribe by tribe exactly encamped. We'll see what that means in a second. But and that's when the Spirit of God came upon him, and he was able to bless us. Okay, so says Rashi over there, what is shochen lishvatav? What does it mean that we're encamped based on our tribes? Ra'ah kol shevet v'shevet shochen la'atzmo ve'enan me'oravin. He saw that each of the tribes were dwelling by themselves. They weren't intermingling too much with each other's. And then he saw Ra'ah she'ein pitchehem mechuvarim zeh keneged zeh shelo yatzitz letoch ohel chavero. He saw that the entrances were not corresponding exactly to each other. They were a little bit off from each other. So the windows didn't face each other. So that way we wouldn't peer into each other's tents, and it would give a level of tzniut. And it's actually based on a Gemara in Baba Batra, Daf Samech Amud Aleph. The Gemara over there is talking about when a person is building his house. He says, Lo yiftach adam lechatzer shutafin petach keneged petach v'chalon keneged chalon. When you're building your house and you're doing expansions and you're opening up a side room, he says, make sure that the entrance, the opening doesn't go into the courtyard. Make sure your window doesn't look at the window of your friends. You're not looking into their room, and this way you can have sniut, you could have proper privacy. And the Gemara there on that Mishnah asks, and how do they know this? How do you know that you should have privacy? Where does sniut come from? And it bases it on that pasuk that when Bilam looked at us, he saw that our petach was not mechuvanin zerazeh. It wasn't open up exactly to the other one, and that's when he saw that, he says, in this case, Amar ve'uyin halalu shetishre aleim shechina. Now we're worthy of having the divine presence rest upon ourselves. The shechina will come down because we have ourselves tzniut. And we actually said a couple years ago in a previous recording, you can PM me for that recording, that this idea of tzniut, that we're supposed to be modest, actually midav HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu, when he created the world, did tzimtzum, he contracted himself, he held himself back. Hashem, to a certain sense, conceals himself. We have certain places, Holy of Holies, where we have bigger levels of revelation, certain times with bigger revelation, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu is about revealing a little, but concealing much more. So Hashem is the first tzanua. So when we are modest, we're becoming God-like. So it's midah keneged midah. It sounds like for this Gemara that when we have our level of tzniut, when we build our homes in a way that we're not looking into each other's homes, giving each other privacy, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bring his Shekhinah down. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov. How great are our tents, because our tents demonstrate the modesty that we have with each other. That's Rashi by us on our pasuk. But then I saw an awesome idea, a new idea.
I found this in Rav Meir Shapira from Lublin. This is the founder of the Daf Yomi.
He brings down awesome idea, but he plays on the words of Rashi through a different angle. Okay, so the famous statement that's attributed to Hazal, where Hashem says, "Pitchuli petach kechudo shel machat," open for me an opening like as small as the eye of a needle. Give me a tiny little opening. God says, "Vani eftach lachem petach kepitcho shel ulam," and I'll open up for you an opening as grand as a hall. So meaning, you just give me a little, God says, and I'll give you so much more. Disproportionately, I'll rain down on you so much more. Actually, the actual statement of Chazal is a Midrash, Shir Shrim Rabbah. This is on Perek Hey, Siman Bet in the Midrash. So it says over there, the pasuk in Shir Shrim of Kol Dofek, that my beloved is knocking to me. So the Midrash there says this is when Moshe Rabbeinu was running around in Egypt, telling us, guys, Hashem is telling us, Pitchuli, open up. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu Israel, Banai, my children, Pitchuli petach echad teshuvah kichudah shel machat. Open for me a tiny opening of teshuvah, the size of the eye of a needle, just a tiny little bit. And the Midrash is a little different language. And I'll open up for you openings that are so great that wagons and carriages will be able to go through. Basically, same idea. God says, open for me up just a little bit. Give me a little petach, a little opening. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'll open up my storehouses. I'll give you beracha. I'll give you shefa. I'll take care of you like you would never believe. Says Rav Meir Shapira, that's what's going on by us in our parasha. Says Rav Meir Shapira, Matovu Olecha Yaakov. Bilam said, wow, your tents are so awesome. Rashi says, because Bilam saw that our openings didn't correspond to each other. What openings? Not the openings of our windows next to each other like the Gemara, but the openings to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If we open up a tiny opening to God, HaKadosh Baruch Hu open up such a much greater opening to us and give us such great beracha. Bezat Hashem, this beracha of Bilam, the beracha that we say in our tefillot, should be answered. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should open up so much, give us such shefa. Shabbat shalom.